Well, the crucial first meeting of the Core Committee on Naga Political Issue adopted a 5-point resolution today, urging the Naga political groups to make serious efforts to ensure unity and reconciliation besides calling for immediate resumption of peace talks. And meanwhile, the meet, which is being termed historic, was attended by Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio, Leader of Opposition TR Zeliang, and 12 other legislators from the ruling PDA and opposition NPF. Well, the crucial meet that lasted for over 3 hours adopted 5 key resolutions aimed at early solution to the vexed Naga issue. So what were the key resolutions of the Core Committee meet? The Core Committee has appealed to all Naga political groups to make serious efforts towards unity and reconciliation. Well, the Core Committee noted that constant antagonism between groups, especially in public space, is sending out a wrong message to the masses. Well, the Core Committee urged the Naga political groups to take the example set by the MLAs who have risen above party affiliations to unite for the Naga political issue. The Core Committee has also appealed the negotiating parties to resume peace talks with a positive approach of mutual respect for each other by setting aside preconditions in the greater interest of peace. And very significantly, the Core Committee also resolved that all the elected members, including the 2 MPs, are prepared to pave way as and when an inclusive, honourable and acceptable solution is arrived at. The Core Committee, on behalf of the Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issue, appealed to the Naga negotiating groups to come together in order to hammer out their differences and create a common approach for one solution and one agreement. And meanwhile, talking exclusively to Northeast Live after the meet, Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio said that he is happy with the outcome of the meeting, which he termed as positive. And reacting to a query on whether the NSCNK's Yung Ang faction will join the peace talks, Rio said the final decision lies with the centre. Listen in.
I'm happy the outcome of our meeting. Every member had spoken, and then we have come together for Naga issue. And it is our hope and dream that we find solution and peace in our land.
Sir, one question, sir. Most of the groups are now in the peace table. Yeah. However, there's one more group across the border in Myanmar where there are many Indian Nagas that side. So will your government be taking any initiative to also bring them to the peace table?
No, it's up to government of India. But we are also discussing in what manner they should be handled.
And meanwhile, Leader of Opposition TR Zeliang said that the meet unanimously decided to urge the Naga political groups to hammer out their differences and push for early solution. And significantly, Zeliang also expressed happiness over the free and frank discussion at the Core Committee meet. And when asked about NSCNK Yung Ang faction joining the peace process, Zeliang maintained that the ruling PDA and the opposition will make a collective effort to bring the group on board the talks table.
We are happy that we have had a free and frank discussion, and the outcome of the meeting was that we have to insist on Naga political negotiating group to come together and hammer out their differences and make a common ground. So with the common approach, we should talk to government of India so that differences will not be there among them. So as we have come together, the Naga negotiating group also should come together and make a common approach. So that was a good outcome.
There are still many Indian Nagas on the other side. So will the opposition party make effort to bring them on the peace table?
No, that is why now, whatever effort that opposition alone have tried, and the ruling PDA also tried, which was not made possible. Now together we should make an effort. So that was consensusly decided to make an effort to bring them together.
What will be the next course of action from the core committee?
We'll discuss, and after a week or so, we'll work out a program to sit together again.
And to know more, we are being joined live with our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain. So, Wasbir, a historic meet and a very significant 5-point resolution was adopted, Wasbir. So, what is your take on this development, Wasbir?
Well, Priya, there has been almost a stalemate of sorts as far as the Naga political dialogue is concerned, because after October 2019, there has been no movement as far as the Naga peace talks are concerned. Therefore, this meeting has been extremely crucial, where the political leaders from all the political parties, the ruling and the opposition combined in Nagaland, have come together and set up this core committee, where they met today about 14 to 15 of the political leaders representing a wide spectrum of political parties, mainly the Naga People's Front, which is the main opposition party, and the ruling PDA, People's Democratic Alliance, which comprises the BJP and the NDPP, are the main parties. They have met today to break the stalemate. And now, you see, this has come at a time when there was absolutely no movement, as I have said, as far as the Naga political dialogue is concerned. Now, these 5 resolutions are extremely significant and very critical, because the first resolution itself is very significant, where the core committee has appealed to the negotiating parties, meaning the government of India and the Naga insurgent groups engaged in the peace process, to talk peace with a positive approach and the mutual respect for each other, by setting aside preconditions in the greater interest of the people. Now, this is very significant. The core committee asking the negotiating parties to set aside the preconditions, because if you look at the NSC and IM, they are saying that the flag and the constitution has to be part of the solution. They have to get a Naga flag and a separate constitution for the Naga people. Otherwise, they are not going to sign on the dotted lines. So this is a condition set by the NSC and IM. I'm just giving an example. And as far as the government of India is concerned, the government of India says that there can be no separate flag for the Naga people, or for that matter, there can be no unification of the Naga areas. There can be no restructuring of the state boundaries. So this is what the core committee has said, that there should be no preconditions. The second point is that the core committee has definitely taken note of the factionalism within the Naga negotiating groups, that is within the Naga rebel factions which are engaged in the peace process. Now, therefore, they have appealed to the Naga political groups to make serious efforts towards unity and reconciliation. The constant antagonism against each other, especially in public space in the media, is sending out wrong messages to the masses. That is what the resolution says. And they have also cited the instance of the political parties themselves. They're saying that the political leaders have set aside their party affiliations and have come together for the sake of ushering in or facilitating a permanent peace and acceptable solution. So similarly, they are also appealing to the Naga political groups. Now, the core committee has also taken into account the positive role played by the churches, the civil societies and NGOs for so long, and they have also appealed to them once again to create a conducive atmosphere for early realization of a political solution by pursuing unity, reconciliation and oneness. And of course, the resolution number 4 is extremely significant, Priya, because all members of the core committee and the parliamentary committee on Naga political issue, including the 2 MPs, have come together under the same banner in line with election manifestos of different political parties, and commit to the people that elected members are prepared to pave the way as and when an inclusive, honorable and acceptable solution is arrived at. So this, I would presume, this indicates that, the political leaders have once again reiterated their commitment that they are even willing to relinquish their respective positions for the sake of Naga peace. They're even going to quit their respective positions if necessary. That is what I look at it as paving the way. That's what they must have meant. And lastly, the core committee on behalf of the Parliamentary Committee of Naga Political Issue appeals to the Naga negotiating groups to come together in order to hammer out the differences. So, Priya, more than one occasion in this resolution, the core committee has appealed to the Naga underground groups engaged in peace dialogue with the government of India to hammer out their differences and come together for a solution. So at the end of the day, there seems to be an acceptance on part of everybody, the civil society as well as the political parties, particularly in this case, because they are the members who are part of this core committee. They have almost admitted to the fact that if the Naga issue has not progressed, it is because of differences of opinion within the Naga underground groups themselves, the antagonism, each group criticizing the other in public space. These are something which the political groups at least have not taken very kindly to, and therefore they have appealed to these groups to hammer out their differences and reconcile as soon as possible for the sake of Naga peace.
Right, Wasbir, so do you think that things will once again move or set rolling as far as the peace talks are concerned, Wasbir?
Well, the very first resolution, Priya, where they have called upon the negotiating groups, meaning the government of India and the Naga underground groups engaged in the peace dialogue, that is the NSC and IM on one hand, and the 7 to 8 member NNPGs on the other, to actually resume the dialogue in a positive manner and without any preconditions. That is extremely critical. If both sides, that is the government of India and the Naga rebels, decide to set aside any preconditions and once again decide to resume the dialogue, at least I think there is no reason why the talks should not progress. But that is easier said than done, because there is also a turf war. There is also a battle for space going on among the Naga rebel groups as to who are the true representative of the Nagas. So this is something which none of the groups are easily going to concede. Therefore, the NSC and IM thinks that they are the dominant rebel group in the state. Therefore, since they have been negotiating from 1997 onwards, and the NSC and IM might feel that the NNPGs are very, very late entrants to the negotiation process. But the NNPG may feel otherwise. They must be feeling that they are equally stakeholders as far as the Naga peace is concerned. But this is something which has to be resolved. This is something which has to be hammered out, and only the Naga rebel groups themselves, aided by the civil society, can do this. And we expect sooner or later, good sense will prevail, and some of these differences at least can be ironed out so that the Naga peace can go ahead, and we can then the region can see an acceptable and honorable solution to the protracted Naga political issue.
All right, Wasbir, thank you so much for all those details. So, viewers, a very crucial first meeting of the core committee on Naga political issue adopted a 5-point resolution today urging the Naga political groups to make serious efforts to ensure unity and reconciliation, besides calling for immediate resumption of peace talks.